The night was cold, and the air heavy with silence. Ertugrul rode through the mist, his eyes sharp, his mind alert. Behind him, his loyal Alps followed, Turgut, Bamzi, and Dawn, their swords ready, their faith unshaken. Suddenly, a scream pierced the night. Ertugrul halted. "Prepare yourselves," he ordered, voice firm and calm. They galloped toward the sound, only to find Crusader soldiers attacking helpless travelers. Ertugrul's anger burned. "For justice," he roared. Steel clashed, fire sparked, cries filled the dark. Ertugrul's sword struck true, swift, merciful, unstoppable. When silence returned, the travelers bowed, whispering, "Who are you, Savior?" Ertugrul replied softly, "Just a man who cannot bear injustice." Morning light broke over the plains. The K tribe prepared for a new day, unaware of what destiny would soon demand. Haimana watched over her people, her heart proud yet heavy. She turned to Halime, the rescued woman from last night, her eyes filled with warmth. "My son brought you safely," Haim Said gently. "You're among family now." Halime bowed her head. "May Allah bless him. He fought like a lion." Outside, Ertugrul sharpened his blade, lost in thought. Dawn approached. "Bey, those crusaders were far from their lands. Something is coming." Ertugrul nodded. "Then we must be ready." The wind carried his words like prophecy. Far away, in the crusader stronghold, the commander smashed a goblet in rage. "Find that Turk, the one they call Ertugrul." In the council tent, the elders gathered. Suleiman Shah, the wise leader of the Kays, sat at the center. Ertugrul entered, bowing deeply. "My son, Said Suleiman, I hear you fought the crusaders again." "Yes, father," Ertugrul answered, "they attacked the innocent. I could not stand by." The elders murmured among themselves. One elder frowned. "War brings nothing but death, Ertugrul." Ertugrul's eyes hardened. "Then should we let tyranny rule?" Suleiman Shah raised his hand. "Enough, the world is changing. We must be wise." Outside, Turgut whispered to Bamzi, "Our bey's courage will one day change history." Bamzi grinned, "And maybe break a few skulls along the way." Their laughter faded as drums of warning echoed from the watchtower. Riders appeared on the horizon, dust rising behind them. "Enemies!" cried a guard. Ertugrul leapt onto his horse. "To arms!" But as the riders drew closer, their banners revealed a crescent moon, fellow Oghuz Turks. The tension eased, yet unease lingered. Their leader, Seldshan Hatun's brother, dismounted and bowed. "We bring news," he sighed breathlessly. "The Mongols, they've begun moving west." Gasps filled the air. Suleiman Shah's face grew grave. Then darkness spreads again. Ertugrul clenched his fists. "If they come, we will meet them head on." That night, as fires flickered across the camp, Halime sat beside the flames, her eyes lost in memory. Ertugrul approached quietly. "You should rest," he sighed. She smiled faintly. "How can I, when the world burns?" The next dawn was restless. Scouts returned with troubling news. Crusader patrols were growing bolder. Ertugrul stood atop a hill, watching the plains below. Turgut joined him. "They taste us, brother. Soon they'll strike." Ertugrul's gaze didn't waver. "Then let them. The wolf never fears the storm." In the distance, Suleiman Shah prayed alone, his heart heavy with both pride and fear. He whispered, "Ya Allah, guide my son, for his courage may lead us to greatness, or to ruin." Meanwhile, in a stone fortress, the Crusader commander looked at a burning map. "Ertugrul," he sneered, "the name will be forgotten once his blood stains the earth." Lightning flashed across the sky, as if heaven itself rejected the thought. Fasila Sitta. Night settled over the Key camp, but sleep was far away. In his tent, Ertugrul kneeled in prayer. "O Allah," he whispered, "grant me strength to walk the path of truth." Outside, Turgut and Bamzi sharpened their axes. Bamzi chuckled, "If those crusaders come again, I'll give them a warm welcome." Turgut smirked. You mean you'll break the ground with your swing before they reach you. Their laughter eased the tension for a moment. Suddenly, a horn sounded from the watchtower. Dawn burst in. Bay. Scouts spotted movement near the river. Ertugrul stood, eyes blazing. Then destiny doesn't rest tonight. They rode into the darkness once more, torches flickering against the night, unaware that an ambush awaited. Arrows whistled through the trees. Cover! Shouted Ertugrul, as one arrow grazed his arm. Banzi swung his sword, deflecting another. From the shadows, Crusader soldiers charged, their armor glinting in moonlight. Ertugrul met them head on, sword in motion, heart steady. Steel clashed, sparks flew. One Crusader aimed a spear, but Turgut's axe split it in half. The enemy fell back, but one man remained, their leader, cloaked and cold-eyed. He sneered, "You fight like a lion, Turk. But lions die too." Ertugrul raised his sword. "Then let my death serve my people." Their blades collided in a storm of fury. Finally, Ertugrul's strike found its mark. The leader fell, whispering, "This is only the beginning." Ertugrul wagged his blade, then let it begin. Back at the camp, the tribe gathered around the wounded. Haimana's eyes filled with worry. "How long can this fighting go on?" Suleiman Shah replied, "As long as injustice walks this earth." Hailimi entered, carrying water for the injured. Ertugrul's eyes met hers. For a moment, the noise faded, only silence remained. "Why do you fight so fiercely?" she asked softly. Ertugrul smiled faintly. "Because peace must be earned with courage." Outside, children played unaware of the storm ahead. In the distance, the sky turned crimson, a sign of the coming trials. Turgut entered the tent. "Bey, spies report movement near the border." Ertugrul nodded. "Then the test continues." Haimana whispered a prayer. "May Allah protect my son from his fate." Far away, in the Crusader fortress, the commander paced before a blazing fire. "Failure," he roared. "You let a handful of Turks humiliate my soldiers." A knight kneeled trembling. "He fights with the fury of 10 men, my lord." The commander glared. "Then we'll crush his tribe. Burn their tents. Take their women." He slammed his gauntlet on the table. "Send word to the Mongols. We'll strike together." In the same moment, Ertugrul stood on a hill, feeling the wind shift. He turned to Dawn. "Do you feel it? The air before the storm." Dawn nodded grimly. "It smells of war." Ertugrul's gaze hardened. "Then we prepare, not for victory, but for sacrifice." The moon rose red above the plains, casting long shadows across the camp. At dawn, the tribe gathered before Suleiman Shah's tent. Ertugrul stood beside his father, silent but strong. The elders spoke of migration, of finding new lands free from danger. One voice argued, "We should avoid war. The Mongols are unstoppable." Ertugrul stepped forward. "If we flee every storm, we will never see the sun." Silence followed. Suleiman Shah looked at his son with pride. Spoken like a true leader. Hailimi watched from afar, admiration in her eyes. Later that evening, Ertugrul sat by the fire, lost in thought. Banzi placed a hand on his shoulder. "Brother, no one carries the tribe alone." Ertugrul smiled slightly. "Then we carry it together." The flames flickered brighter, as if destiny itself listened. The night wind whispered through the camp, carrying secrets of fate. Hailimi stood by the river, her reflection trembling on the surface. Ertugrul approached quietly. "You cannot sleep either." She turned, startled. "How can one rest, knowing war is near?" He smiled softly. "Fear keeps us alert, but faith keeps us alive." Hailimi looked at him, brave, calm, yet burdened. "You risk everything for people who barely knew you." Ertugrul's voice deepened. "A warrior without mercy is just a killer. I fight for honor." Before she could reply, the sound of horses echoed. Turgut galloped in. "Bey." Scouts spotted Mongol riders at dawn. Ertugrul's hand tightened on his sword. Then the time for words is over. The river shimmered beneath the rising sun, red as blood. Suleiman Shah summoned the council once more. The Mongols have crossed the border, he announced. We cannot face them alone. An elder muttered, then we should move south, seek alliance with the Seljuks. Ertugrul shook his head. If we run today, our children will run forever. His father looked at him long and hard. And if we stay, they may die. The tent fell silent. Finally, Haymana spoke. A mother's heart feels loss. But she knows, a coward's life is worse than death. Suleiman Shah sighed deeply. Prepare the tribe. We'll stand our ground. Outside, the warriors gathered their armor, the women packed food, and the children watched with wide, wondering eyes. Ertugrul lifted his sword toward the sky. Let this be the day, he declared, when the wolves rise again. In the distance, drums of war began to thunder. Turgut stood beside Ertugrul, axe in hand. They're coming. Ertugrul nodded. Then we stand. No retreat. Bamzi grinned wildly. Finally, I was starting to miss the sound of battle. Ertugrul smiled faintly. Then fight with heart, brother, not madness. Moments later, Mongol riders burst from the forest, their cries savage, their arrows like rain. The Kais roared in answer, their courage echoing across the plains. Steel clashed, hooves thundered, and chaos ruled the morning. Amid the storm, Ertugrul fought like a man possessed, each swing a prayer, each strike a vow. When the dust settled, the Mongols retreated. Dawn shouted, we've held them off. Ertugrul raised his sword. This was only the first wave. The victory was brief. As night fell, the wounded cried out in pain, and smoke rose from broken tents. Haymana attended to the injured, her hands trembling but steady. Hailime joined her, wrapping bandages silently. Ertugrul entered, face streaked with blood and dust. Too many lost, he sighed, voice heavy. Haymana placed a hand on his arm. You did what you must. But was it enough? He murmured. Outside, Bamzi and Turgut buried their fallen brothers beneath the moonlight. May Allah grant them paradise, Turgut whispered. Bamzi nodded. And strength to those left behind. In the distance, a lone wolf howled, mournful, proud, eternal. Ertugrul looked toward the sound. Our ancestors watch us, he sighed softly. We cannot fail them. Days later, the council met again. Tension filled the air like smoke. An elder spoke bitterly, we cannot fight the Mongols and Crusaders both. Ertugrul answered firmly, then we find allies, those who still remember honor. Suleiman Shah studied his son. You would leave again, wouldn't you? Ertugrul nodded. If my journey brings hope to our people, then yes. Haymana's eyes glistened. A mother's heart breaks every time her child rides away. Ertugrul knelt before her. Your prayers are my armor, Anna. The tribe gathered to see him off, the wind tugging at banners, faces solemn. Turgut, Dawn, and Bamzi mounted their horses beside him. Where to, Bey? Bamzi asked. Ertugrul smiled faintly. Where destiny calls. And with that, they rode into the horizon, toward danger, and toward history. The journey was long and harsh. They crossed rivers, mountains, and endless plains. At night, the men sat around the fire, weary but determined. Turgut sighed quietly, sometimes I wonder, brother, if we chase shadows. Ertugrul replied, we chase a dream, a home where our people can live free. Bamzi laughed. Then let's catch it before I grow old. Their laughter faded as the wind carried distant cries. They rode toward the sound, a caravan under attack. Crusaders again. Without hesitation, Ertugrul drew his sword. For justice. The fight was swift and fierce. When it ended, an old man approached. You saved us, my son. May Allah reward you. Ertugrul smiled humbly. It is he who guides the sword. But the old man's next words chilled him. They were not bandits, they were sent for you. The revelation struck like lightning. Ertugrul frowned. Sent for me. By whom? The old man trembled. A man cloaked in red. He Sa'id, find the wolf and break him. Turgut clenched his fists. The Crusaders want your head, Bey. Ertugrul's jaw tightened. Then they'll have to face me first. They made camp by a river, keeping watch in shifts. Halime's face haunted Ertugrul's thoughts, her words, her eyes, her unspoken fears. Banzi poked the fire. Do you think she waits for you? Ertugrul smiled faintly. I hope she prays for me. That night, arrows suddenly rained from the darkness. Ambush, shouted Dawn. Ertugrul drew his sword, eyes blazing. Then let the wolves awaken. The forest erupted into chaos once more, the fight raged beneath the stars. Ertugrul's sword moved like lightning, cutting through enemy lines. Turgut fought back, too, back with him, roaring in fury. Banzi's laughter echoed as he swung his blade wide. But the enemy was relentless, wave after wave. Finally, silence fell. Bodies lay still, and the fire crackled weakly. Ertugrul stood breathing heavily, wounded but alive. Dawn approached. We can't keep this pace, Bey. We need shelter. Ertugrul nodded slowly. There's a village nearby. We'll rest there. When they arrived, the villagers stared with fear and awe. An old woman whispered, the lion of the caves walks among us. Ertugrul simply sighed, we walk only where Allah wills. But far away, another storm brewed, one that would taste them beyond swords. In the village, Ertugrul and his men found temporary peace. Children ran around them, fascinated by the warriors. Banzi laughed, lifting a boy onto his shoulder. One day, you'll swing a sword taller than me. The boy giggled, then I'll protect my tribe like Ertugrul Bey. Ertugrul smiled, but his eyes remained distant. Turgut noticed. You're thinking of home. Yes, Ertugrul replied, and of the war that follows me. At sunset, he prayed beside a lonely tree. Grant me patience, O Lord. Let my sword serve only justice. As he finished, a messenger arrived breathless. Bey, your tribe, they've been attacked. Ertugrul froze. By whom? The Crusaders, and the Mongols together. His heart turned to fire. Then we ride, no. The ride back was relentless. Days turned to nights, and exhaustion to fury. Ertugrul's mind replayed every image, his people, his mother, his father. Turgut rode beside him. Bey, rest a while. Ertugrul shook his head. Not until I see my tribe again. As they neared the valley, smoke filled the sky. Tents burned, cries echoed, and chaos rolled. Ertugrul charged ahead, cutting through enemies like a storm. Save the women, protect the children, he shouted. Banzi roared, for the case. When the dust cleared, the battle was over, but the pain had just begun. Ertugrul found Suleiman Shah gravely wounded. His father smiled weakly. You came, just as I knew you would. Ertugrul's eyes filled with tears. Hold on, father, we'll save you. Suleiman whispered, no, my son. You must save, or dream. Ertugrul knelt beside his father, his hands trembling. Don't speak, father, the healer is coming. Suleiman Shah smiled faintly. No healer can stop what Allah has written. Tears welled in Ertugrul's eyes. I wasn't here when you needed me. You were where destiny placed you, his father whispered. He gripped Ertugrul's hand tightly. Promise me, protect the tribe. Lead them with justice. I promise, Ertugrul Sa'id, voice breaking. Suleiman Shah's eyes softened. Then the K bloodline will never fade. With a final breath, he whispered, my lion, the world awaits you. The fire in the tent flickered, and went out. Outside, the tribe wept. Ertugrul stepped into the night, his father's words echoing in his soul. A leader had fallen, but a legend was rising. The tribe gathered at dawn to bury their bey. Haimana stood tall, though her heart shattered inside. Halime held her gently, tears streaming silently. Ertugrul spoke before his people, his voice steady though his chest burned with grief. My father has returned to his creator. But his dream remains, a home for our people, where justice reigns. The tribe murmured in agreement, their sorrow turning to strength. Turgut stepped forward. Bey, we follow you. Banzi raised his sword. For Suleiman Shah. For the case. A roar echoed across the plains as hundreds of warriors lifted their blades to the sky. Haimana whispered, your father would be proud. Ertugrul looked toward the horizon. Then let me prove worthy of his name. That night, the tribe sat in silence. Ertugrul entered his father's empty tent. Every object, the sword, the cloak, the map, seemed to breathe memories. He knelt before his father's seat and closed his eyes. Allah, he whispered, make me strong enough to lead. Let me never stray from truth. A soft breeze moved through the tent, fluttering the banners, as if in answer. Outside, Turgut approached quietly. Bey, scouts report the Crusaders are regrouping. Ertugrul rose slowly. Then we move before they strike again. Banzi grinned, lifting his axe. I was hoping you'd say that. As they prepared, Halimi watched from afar. In her heart, fear and faith battled, for she knew the road ahead was no ordinary war, it was destiny unfolding. Before dawn, Ertugrul led a small force into the forest. The mist hung thick, and silence rolled. Dawn whispered, they must be near. Suddenly, a whistle, and arrows flew. Ambush, shouted Turgut. Ertugrul spun his horse, rearing one arrow mid-air. The Crusaders emerged from the trees, shouting in Latin, blades gleaming. The Kays fought fiercely, but they were outnumbered. Ertugrul shouted, hold the line. Banzi's laughter echoed. They'll have to kill me twice. After a fierce struggle, Ertugrul faced the Crusader commander once more, the same man who had sworn revenge. So we meet again, Turk, the commander hissed. Ertugrul raised his sword, and once again, justice will prevail. Their duel lit the forest with fury and fire, the battle reached its peak. Steel crushed, and every strike felt like thunder. Ertugrul fought with the memory of his father in his heart. Finally, with a roar, he disarmed the Crusader commander. The man fell to his knees, gasping. Why spare me? Ertugrul's voice was cold, because mercy separates us from beasts. He turned away, leaving the enemy alive, humiliated but breathing. As the Kays regrouped, Turgut smiled. Bey, you did what even legends fear. Ertugrul looked toward the sunrise. No, brother, legends are born from sacrifice, not blood. They returned to the camp victorious, but the journey of the Kay had only begun. Far away, new enemies watched from the shadows, waiting for their turn to strike. Back at the camp, cheers rose as the warriors returned. Halime rushed forward, relief shining in her eyes. You're safe, she whispered. Ertugrul smiled faintly. By Allah's mercy. Haimana embraced her son, whispering, your father's spirit walks beside you. That night, as drums of victory echoed, Ertugrul stood apart, gazing at the stars. Turgut joined him. What weighs on your mind, brother? Ertugrul answered softly. Victory means nothing if it blinds us to the next battle. He looked toward the mountains. Our people deserve a home. Not just survival, but peace. Turgut nodded. Then we fight until that dream becomes truth. Ertugrul's eyes burned with resolve. And we will name it our homeland. The following morning, Halime walked through the camp, helping the wounded and comforting the children. When she reached Ertugrul's tent, he was polishing his sword. You never rest, she sighed softly. He smiled. Leaders rest when their people do. She stepped closer. And what of your heart? Ertugrul looked at her, silent for a long moment. My heart belongs to the path Allah chose for me, he sighed finally. Her eyes glistened. Then may that path lead to peace. Before they could speak further, Bamzi's booming voice interrupted. Bey, the Seljuk envoy has arrived. Ertugrul straightened, face hardening. Then our next chapter begins. Halime watched him go, proud, fearful, and deeply moved. In the council tent, the Seljuk envoy bowed deeply. Sultan Alaeddin sends his greetings, and his warning. The Mongols move faster than expected. Ertugrul replied, then we must prepare for what's coming. The envoy smiled. The Sultan offers you a place in his army. Suleiman Shah's seat was empty, but his spirit filled the room. Ertugrul spoke firmly. Tell the Sultan I will serve, not as a soldier, but as a man of justice. The envoy bowed again. Then may Allah strengthen your hand. After he left, Turgut Said, serving the Sultan might protect our tribe. Ertugrul looked toward the horizon. No protection is greater than faith. Outside, the wind carried the sound of hooves, destiny galloping closer once more. As night fell, Ertugrul gathered his companions by the fire. We've lost much, he said, but we've gained purpose. Bamzi nodded. Our blades are ready, Bey. Turgut added, and our loyalty is yours, till death. Ertugrul looked at each of them. Then remember this, our fight isn't for land or power. It's for the soul of our people. The flames crackled, reflecting in their eyes. Halimi watched from afar, her heart swelling with pride. She whispered a prayer, protect him, Allah. Let his name echo through time. In the distance, a wolf howled once again, fierce, proud, eternal. Ertugrul smiled faintly. The ancestors call. Tomorrow, we ride toward destiny. The dawn of a new day rose over the K tribe. Smoke from the fires curled into the golden sky. Ertugrul stood at the edge of the valley, cloak fluttering in the wind. Behind him, his tribe prepared to move, not in fear, but in faith. Haim Anna's voice narrated softly, from loss, came strength. From grief, came purpose. Halimi watched him ride out, her eyes filled with both love and destiny. Turgut, Dawn, and Bamzi followed, their hearts united as brothers. As the music swelled, Ertugrul lifted his sword toward the rising sun. For justice, for freedom, for the case, the camera pulled back, showing the endless plains ahead, vast, wild, and waiting. A legend had begun, and the world would soon remember the name, Ertugrul Ghazi. Sharta sharta sharta, sharta sharta sharta, sharta sharta sharta.